Most people I meet are a mile wide and an inch thick. They spread themselves out so many directions, hoping that one of those directions will produce a life-changing result. Let me tell you something, that never works. That never works. To be successful, you have to focus. You have to choose a direction, and you have to put everything you have into it. Even when you don't want to, even when it's hard, and even when people tell you no. Paul Young wrote a story that he thought everybody would benefit from hearing. He was excited about it. He had a passion for it. He took the book to 26 different publishers, and they all told him no. So finally, after 2 years of constant and steady rejection, he decided to publish it himself. And he borrowed $15,000 from his friends, and he did it. Then he took the books around in the trunk of his car, and he started selling them to anybody he could convince to buy them. And then something interesting happened. A few months later, he started to get phone calls from people who wanted to buy his book. 2 years later, The Shack has sold over 7 million copies and stayed on the New York Times bestseller list for over 60 weeks. And I just wonder how many times Paul Young had the opportunity to quit. It's got to be thousands. But he didn't. He had a passion for his story and what he thought it could do for others, and he never gave up on it. And you are here at the threshold of one of the most unique sets of circumstances that will ever transpire in your life. And each one of you has a passion for something, a big why. And the only thing between you and it is what you're going to spend your time doing for the next 3 years. And there are 3 things that you have to do to take advantage of this moment. The first is the easiest of the 3. You have to recognize it. How many of you recognize it? Do you recognize it? Guys, the facts are compelling all by themselves. They can give you the faith you need to recognize what's happening, but you have to step into it. Are you willing to step into it today? I don't mean pay $429. 60,000 people have already done that. Here's where it gets a little harder. I mean, are you willing to humble yourself enough to ask your friends and family to do you a favor and try Ambit Energy? I mean, are you willing to call everyone on your prospect list starting today and ask them 3 simple questions? Because action is the only proof that you're willing to step into the moment. And unfortunately, only after you take the action do you develop the confidence and the hope you need to keep moving forward. You got to do something, and you got to do it today. You've got to recognize it, you've got to step into it, and you've got to commit to it until your success happens. And only having a big why and learning to love helping other people get theirs is what's going to give you what you need to stick with it. 3 years from now, you're either going to be looking back on this moment and celebrating your accomplishments in Ambit, or this moment will haunt you like the sound of those deer hooves echoing down a mountain canyon. And the choice is yours. The facts will give you the faith you need. The action you take will give you the hope you need. And a big why will give you the love you need. But then that's the way of all things. That's the original formula for success. Faith, hope, and love. Love never fails. I love you guys. God bless you this year with more faith, more hope, and more love. May He open every door you knock on and break down every stronghold in front of you. And most importantly, may He give you a life of freedom and a future without fear. Thank you. Thank you, guys.